Video number 52. Number 52.1. My mother did this in her last days. I came to the door of her room one night and she had her hand on her chin, as if she was contemplating something that someone, in the beyond, was telling her. I took a picture of this and if I'm not mistaken, she had her eyes closed. On another day, she had her eyes open, and she was starting to the corner of the room, and called out my cousin's name. My cousin was deceased and he was over or around 7 feet tall. When she called his name, she looked all the way up, as if she could see him in his full stature. That truly convinced me that she actually saw him. I then knew she was going home to be with the Lord. Number 52.2. My mother had Alzheimer's. She was on hospice and unconscious at the end. The day before she died, she opened her eyes and reached her hand up towards the ceiling. Number 52.3. Went through this with my grandfather. He was very agitated and restless, on Ativan and incoherent. Suddenly he went very still, then spoke to someone before he passed, saying, "Tell me what to do." He was smiling and looking to his left. The week before he died he was looking at something behind me. He waited for my dad to get to town. Number 52.4. Had a patient say, "The gates are opening. I'll die in 2 days." 2 days later she died. True story. Number 52.5. A few days ago I had a patient point at the ceiling and ask, "What's that?" There was a painting on the ceiling and I said, "That's a painting of some animals." And she says, "Not the painting, what's that?" And reached up to it. Number 52.6. My father was not heavily sedated. Dad saw angels about 3 weeks before he passed. His hospice nurse started the medication, only 15 hours and he could fight no more. You should pick up a copy of the book titled, Gone from My Sight. I was ignorant too about what happens when someone dies. God is good, all the time. Number 52.7. My mother was not heavily sedated. In fact, she wasn't sedated at all. She continuously reached up to the ceiling, as if she were reaching up for someone's hand. Number 52.8. I was sitting with my dad. He suddenly opened his eyes, fixated on the ceiling, never blinking. He hadn't opened his eyes in several days. I yelled out to my mom and siblings, they all came in, then all of a sudden he smiled the biggest smile, then closed his eyes and passed. Please subscribe, like and share with anyone that needs these comforting stories. See link in description to submit your own story. Search for my related book on Amazon using the title of 4,000 Deathbed Vision Stories. Sincerely, Ken.